sign or raise your hand, and we'll go forward with the Q&A session. So no questions today?
Yeah, they'll come on. I just open it up so everybody's unmuted. Just give your call sign. Doug will do it. I'm going to scoot out for another appointment. Thank you, Doug. I'll make you host.
All right.
And thanks again, Barry. Appreciate you,
very much. Well, Roland, I have a question. How are the transmitters or exciters relatively available, or is this something that you really have to build on your own?
Well, you can do it two ways. We do have builders with our DVB-T input technology that we have. We run on 434 megahertz, 2 megahertz bandwidth using DVB-T and either QPSK modulation or I'm using 16 QAM modulation using 1920 by or 1280 by 720 resolution. And the receivers, they automatically scale. So whether you go on 1080, 720, or 480, they'll automatically scale down into the controllers into our amateur television network. So there's many ways you can go. You can go, let's say, to a flea market, because our 434 AM or VSB input is still active. So people are going to flea markets and they find those PC electronic transceivers, 70 centimeter transceivers. Those will work very, very well. There's the 1 watt version, you have the 10 watt version. And so you can simply plug a directional antenna right direct to the repeater sites, and then you're on amateur television, which is great. A lot of our amateur television users, they use the 2.4 gigahertz band, 2441.5, using FM video technology or FM video modulation, and using the old Comtech boards that we're using. That's the most popular way of getting onto amateur television, and putting in a what do you call like a 1 watt preamp into a 10 watt power amp. And I use that as a backup, when I do my nets, in case I lose my DVB-T transmission. But I also have the AM transmission as plan C and 2.4 as plan B. And so those are the three inputs that we use to get into amateur television. We used to have a 10 gigahertz input up on Santiago for experimental, and we're getting a big interest in getting 10 gigs back again, especially playing around with 6 megahertz to 8 megahertz wide HD technology. The repeater down in Australia, they're playing with 4K right now, which is great. And also we want to think about getting into ATSC 3.0, because if you compare between ATSC 3.0 that our commercial broadcasters are using, and of course with DVB-T, which is the European standard of broadcast, they use the same COD FM video modulation technology. And so transitioning into ATSC 3.0 in the future, that it seems to be more a feasible idea. And the reason I say that's because as more of our televisions are going to be built, they're going to be built with the ATSC tuners in it. And I think that'd be a great way to get into amateur television that way, by using ATSC 3.0 in the future. But getting into the equipment is pretty much both the receiving side as well as the transmit side. It pretty much costs the same as a good HF station. So getting aboard on amateur television is, quite, it's very inexpensive, really, and in consideration that, it takes a bit of money to have a good HF station. And so getting on board now amateur television is quite fun, because it's not just getting a box and then putting an antenna up. It's more like you get a box, you get an antenna up, and then you can go either just from a camera, or you can play with switchers, or like I do here with Gary. So we can do multi-switching for different stations. And of course, I have a master control that shows repeater systems throughout the world that participate with the amateur television network. So, like I said, the content is just within your imagination.
Yeah.
Cool,
I'm
thank you.
Carl, K5HK.
Hi, Carl.
And Roland, you kind of answered some of what I was thinking, but well, I live in Reno, and I know there's some amateur TV enthusiasts here. I haven't gotten involved personally, or even remember who those are. But you know, some simple things. Can you use like an iPad or PC to interface with these transmitter receivers? And in Reno, I don't know that we got amateur TV repeaters here that could get into a system such as DMR. Or, you know, I assume that's what you're using for distance stuff is going through internet to something. But kind of tell that again, I guess you probably told it.
Well, I will tell you, when I first started with amateur television, and of course I was in broadcasting at the time, you know, it's pretty much all analog. And so as the form of digital came to be, we actually created a digital content director back at the time. And that was just saying, how can we take ATV and do a two-way communication between those that, you know, on the internet, you know, and you got to realize this is back in 1996, 97, where basically streaming on the internet was just a little crouton at the time called See You See Me TV. And so, but here we are. There's many ways you can watch the amateur television network. One of them is going on YouTube. We're streaming 24/7 on our YouTube channel, and just simply query up W6ATN or Amateur Television Network, and you'll be able to watch our ATV repeater live. Also, we're streaming on the British Amateur Television Club's system, and you can see a multitude of different repeaters on the British Amateur Television Club, or BATC, and they're on batc.org.uk. And you can watch the many ATV repeaters that are streaming concurrently.
Yeah, but how about getting back to them? How do you get into it?
Well, getting
How
back
would
to
I
them,
get into it?
that goes right into our whereby system. And we are thinking about setting up some kind of a digital interface by using your streaming software like OBS Studio or vMix. And you can, when you hit the stream button, it acts as a push to look or push to talk button. And so this is something that we're considering. And I was talking with Peter. He has that technology where he takes a Raspberry Pi, puts Nginx in it, which is streaming software, or RTMP, encode decode, and he has it interfaced into the repeater controller. And so as soon as it detects video and audio, it will key up the transmitter, which is really, really cool. But we have to make sure that is secure and safe. Make sure we don't have anybody else that's unlicensed that is not able to access the system. So we'll have to go through some like permissions, things like that through our website to get access to it. So we're going to be working on that technology. Other than that, our whereby system is the best place to go and regarding hooking up with other amateurs, whereby.com/ATN1. Also, DMR radio. I'm glad you mentioned DMR radio because we have two networks that we're on. We're on the Brandmeister network, 9410 ATV Talk. And that's like our call channel and communications channel that links ATVers from around the world. And also, we're on the TGIF network on DMR. And we have our own channel, our own talk group, Amateur Television Network. And so, of course, I monitor both of those talk groups using my pad. I have APRS Droid, or not APRS. Well, I have APRS Droid, but I also have DMR, Droid DMR, and getting in, or DroidStar, excuse me, DroidStar. So I'm using DroidStar to monitor both the networks. I also have my Anytone 878, which I monitor both the networks with my hotspot. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been having people very, very curious, and they were like, is there anyone here on this ATV Talk or Amateur Television Network channel? And I hook up people from all around the world, and I go, yes, Roland, KC6JPG. You want to see our pictures? Whereby.com, ATN1. And they come in, and boom, just like Barry. You know, I was on a Papa net with Barry, and that's how we got connected. And he wanted to know about getting interface with the different networks like TGIF. And it got evolved into what we talked about, amateur television. And he says, well, I want to see this. So he went on our Whereby system. I showed him our repeater site, and he got hooked. And here I am talking with you all, and I'm having a great time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Carl.
Vaz KB7VT.
Hi, Vaz.
Hi there. I have a question about the video presentation that you just ran. There was a
Yes.
little portable TV that was able to pick up, I assume 450 megahertz or 420. What is that? I want to get one of those.
Well, believe it or not, it is the ICOM ICR3, which is like a receiver, and kind of like a scanner kind of a thing, but it has a LED monitor in it, and it can actually go up to 1300 megahertz. And
Whoa.
so Mike Collis, WA6SVT, he is our technical guru guy, and of course known him for many, many years. He's a broadcast engineer, transmitter engineer at KCAL Channel 9 here in Southern California, and KCBS Channel 2. And so his office is at Mount Wilson. And so he has this ICOM ICR3 and punches in 1253.25 megahertz, and there you go. You're seeing the amateur television network Santiago Peak repeater system. It makes a fantastic tool to check out all of our ATV repeaters in the area. 1240 is Snow Peak, 1265 is Mount Wilson, 1289 is Santa Barbara. Job's Peak is 1277. And of course, then we go into Oat Mountain, Ord Mountain over in the Barstow area. That acts as a relay going from Job's Peak to Mount Potosi in Nevada. And we have a couple of repeater ATVers out there in Henderson and Las Vegas that communicate with us on the nets as well as communicating, during, just having a lot of fun. So, and we're linked up with Arizona via IP, and we're actually thinking about doing an RF link at Hayden's Peak to link up Snow Peak over to White Tank Mountain. And so then we have our Mesa system that's linked to White Tank, and Mesa going into Tucson and Greens Peak.
It's a shame you don't get into Reno.
Well, I think you'd be a great ATN chapter.
I think it'd be wonderful. Yeah, I'm also a
fantastic.
Broadcast engineer, retired.
Oh, very
And,
good. Yay, brother. Thank you.
Yes. I used to
you
work
for
in
your
San
contribution.
Francisco. I put channel 38 on the air in San Francisco.
Hold that picture, Gary. Hold that picture, Gary. There's Gary. He's got his pad. He's watching his pad on the Amateur Television Network right now, and that's watching on
Lovely.
YouTube. So wonderful, Gary. Thank you.
Anyway, well, thank you very much for the information. I'm going to try to find one of those new TV portables.
Sounds
I think
good.
that is a great gadget. And I'm, like I say, I played around with amateur TV in the Bay Area. We had a repeater there in the South Bay. And I've been trying to figure out how to do it over here because it was great fun.
Yeah,
And
it is.
anyway, so thank you for the presentation. It was absolutely fabulous. I appreciate
Good.
it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Voz. Thank you very much for participating with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland.
Oh, I know there's a lot of questions out there. Don't be afraid. We're amateur operators. So, and we're hams. We love to show off.
George, KD8SMH.
Hi, George.
Hey, are there any plans for repeater network to extend up here to Washoe County and Reno area?
Well, Barry and I have been having that conversation about possibly having an amateur television repeater up there in your area, which I think would be absolutely great. So that's something that you as a club like to talk about. We can definitely give you the expertise in helping you to set up an ATV repeater system. Hopefully
Olin,
that
I,
answered your
I
question.
appreciate your comment about giving people 4 minutes to tell about themselves or whatever, and taking quite a bit longer. That's called ham radio.
That's
Yeah,
ham
thank you.
radio. I'm gonna tell you a little quick story. We had our San Bernardino Microwave Society, and it was our Christmas, program. And normally they'll have their business meeting with our presentation. Well, the presentation was everybody in the room and on Zoom. So since the pandemic and we got open back up, we've been doing this hybrid situation. So Gary, W6KVC, he's been bringing the video truck up and sending video into our repeater system. And then myself, I'm doing the digital side of things, interfacing with the amateur television network system into our Zoom network and interfacing it with the in-person people with our 3 cameras on the floor. And I bring in my 12-channel audio board, have everybody mic'd up so everyone can hear each other. And it's been working out really great. And so the president of the San Bernardino Microwave Society, he says, well, what we're going to do is we're going to have everyone talk for 4 minutes and talk about when did they get licensed? What was their area of expertise? And what did you get, what enticed you to get involved with microwave technology? Okay. And then we got into Mike Collis. Right, Gare? I think Mike talked about a half an hour. he talked everything from time out.
Trying to get him to quiet down. He loves to talk.
He loves to talk. That's why we're hams.
The ham.
Exactly.
I
Really
like
am.
this. My kids like to do this.
There you. That's right. That's right. Go. Like I said, you can watch the amateur television network everywhere. But it was so funny because we started the meeting at 7 o'clock. It didn't get over till almost 10 that evening. So but the stories that come out of all of us, everything from people working from, tinkering during their high school days, they got involved with microwave technology, and you get people working in AT&T and Panasonic, and we have Michelle, who's a part of our AMSAT team that's at the San Bernardino Microwave Society. And of course, Gary, myself, Mike, Tom Board, that was our 4 musketeers talking about amateur television, getting involved with microwave technology with 1.2, 2.4, 10 gigahertz, 3.3 at Oat Mountain. And oh my gosh, it's been incredible. Don't be shy.
Answered my questions.
Well, if we have no more questions, I guess I'm going to close the recording and say 73 to everybody.
Well, very good. Well, Gary, say goodbye
Thank
to
you.
everybody, my friend.
Thank you all.
Well, I
Yeah,
hope you
Bill,
enjoyed
thank
this
you, and
presentation, and I'd like to see you get involved in amateur television. I have a lot of fun with it. While we've been on amateur television this morning, I checked into an HF net, a VHF net, UHF net, and talked to you guys at the same time. So, and show and tell. Now I'm going to get my new helmet on and go out and ride my bike.
Yeah.
I don't have an SD card yet. I'm going to have to go down the hill to get that so I can take some pictures, show you where I've been. 73, everybody. W6KVC.
Thank you, Gary.
Very good, Gary. Thank you so much. And that, wow, that really added to the wonderful presentation today. And like I said, I'd just like to thank you all for waking up early in the morning and talk about amateur television, the original social network.
Network.
Roland, thank you very much. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and thank everybody who is hung on here to the end, and enjoy the rest of your day.